The arrival. The ground shook long before anyone saw the creature. At first, it was only a soft vibration under the metal floor of the training arena, like distant thunder trying to wake up. Then the vibration grew stronger, rolling through the boots of every recruit standing in line. Dust drifted down from the high ceiling. Someone swallowed loudly. Someone else whispered prayer. No one dared to move. The giant steel gates at the far end of the arena slowly opened with a deep grinding sound. Every recruit stared, breath tight in their chest. Everyone knew what was coming out of that darkness. A war dragon, born and trained for battle, stronger than tanks, faster than aircraft, and angry by default. The lights flickered once. A huge shadow moved inside the dark tunnel. Then a roar exploded out, so loud it almost broke the air. People clapped their hands over their ears. Some dropped to their knees. Even the battle-hardened commander at the front took half a step back. The roar wasn't just sound, it was a warning. And then it stepped out, a young war dragon, but still tall enough that its head reached the second level of the arena. Its scales were black with reddish lines glowing between them like cracks in lava. Sharp wings folded on its back, twitching with energy. The creature's eyes burned bright gold, scanning every recruit with a look that felt like knives. It wasn't even full-grown, but the power around it felt heavy, like the air itself was scared. The recruits had been told the young dragon was dangerous. They had been told it obeyed only one person, the official trainer, a confident man named Rax, who stood proudly near the center of the arena with a wide smile on his face. "Relax, everyone," Rax called out loudly. "He listens to me." His voice tried to sound calm, but even he stepped back when the dragon snarled in his direction. Still, he forced a smile and raised a control stick, a glowing rod with symbols that supposedly commanded the beast. The dragon's gaze moved away from him and slowly traveled over the crowd, scanning each face, each heartbeat. But then something strange happened. Its golden eyes stopped when they reached a small figure at the very end of the recruit group. A young human girl named Lira. She wasn't tall. She wasn't strong. She didn't look scared like the others, just quiet, almost curious. Her hands were behind her back, and she had been trying to stay invisible in the crowd. But the dragon saw her anyway. And once it did, it didn't look away. A low rumble came from deep inside its chest. The recruits around Lira instantly stepped away from her, leaving her alone in an empty circle of space. She blinked, confused, looking around at the sudden gap. She had no idea why everyone moved. The dragon took a step forward. The ground shook. The trainer's smile twitched. The dragon took another step. Rax lifted the control rod higher. "Stop," he commanded. His voice cracked just a little. But the dragon didn't stop. It kept walking, slow and heavy and deliberate, every step echoing like a heartbeat across the arena. Its wings opened slightly, as if testing the air. Its head tilted, eyes locked on Lira, as if she was the only person in the entire world. "Why is it moving toward her?" a recruit whispered. "No idea. Is she marked? Is she a handler?" "No, she's nobody." The whispers spread fast, turning into a growing wave of fear and curiosity. Lira didn't move. She couldn't. Her feet felt glued to the floor. Her breath came out in a short gasp as the massive creature reached her. The dragon lowered its head. Everyone froze. The trainer's smile faded completely. His face dropped like someone had cut a string inside him. War dragons never lowered their heads to random humans. That gesture meant trust, respect, or was something even deeper. And certainly not to a young girl with no rank, no training, and no reason to be chosen. "Back away," the trainer shouted, now sounding angry and scared. "That is not allowed. Step back from it." But Lira couldn't move even if she wanted to. The dragon's warm breath washed over her face, heavy and smoky. The creature stared into her eyes, and something flashed inside its golden pupils. Recognition. Memory. Something old. Then, the impossible happened. The young war dragon sat down. A war dragon never sat during training. It only sat before someone it completely accepted. The arena fell silent. Recruits looked at each other in shock. The commander's jaw dropped. A few robots scanning the area paused mid-motion. The entire world seemed to stop. The trainer stepped backward, his voice weak for the first time. No, 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 no. It can't be choosing her. The dragon stayed completely still, eyes gentle now, as if waiting for the girl to touch it. Rax's hand shook. His smile was gone. His confidence was gone, and something darker replaced it. Fear. Because in that moment, everyone understood one terrifying thing. The war dragon had chosen a human girl. Not the trainer. Not the military. Her. And no one knew why. The impossible bond. The arena was frozen in shock, but the young war dragon wasn't. It stayed seated in front of Lira, wings tight against its body, head lowered like a loyal beast waiting for its chosen partner. The glowing lines in its scales dimmed from fiery red to warm amber, as if the creature had suddenly relaxed. Lira didn't understand any of it. Her heart hammered inside her chest. She had never touched a dragon. She had never trained with one. She didn't even know the rules of dragon commands. Yet here she was, staring at a creature that could crush her with a single movement. But it didn't crush her. It waited. The air tasted electric. Rax, the trainer, finally snapped out of shock. He marched forward, shaking with anger. "Stand away from it, girl," he barked. "Now!" His voice tried to be strong, but everyone could hear the fear behind it. Lira didn't move, not because she disobeyed, but because the dragon let out a low growl the moment Rax stepped closer. The sound wasn't loud, but the meaning was clear. Don't touch her. Don't come near her. The soldiers and recruits flinched backward. Even the commander raised a hand, signaling the guards to hold position. "This is wrong," Rax said through his teeth. "It should not be looking at her. It should not become near her. This bond is impossible." But the dragon didn't care what he thought. It lifted its head again and gently nudged Lyra's hand with the tip of its snout. The whole arena gasped. Lyra's fingers trembled as they touched warm scales that felt like hot stone. A strange sensation moved through her arm. A pulse, rhythmic and ancient, like a heartbeat that wasn't hers. She pulled her hand back with a small gasp, but the dragon made a soft sound, urging her to try again. This time, when she touched it, the pulse returned, stronger. A flash of image hit her, not a memory of hers, a memory of the dragon. She saw darkness, a broken nest, fire, a small hatchling crying beside a dying mother. And then she saw a human hand, a small hand, a child's hand, her hand. Lira stumbled backward, eyes wide. I think I've seen it before." The commander frowned. "Seen it? When?" "You've never been near a war dragon training zone." Rax shot her a glare sharp enough to cut metal. "She's lying." But Lira wasn't sure. She didn't feel like she was lying. She felt like something buried deep inside her memory had woken up. The dragon sensed her confusion. It leaned closer, too close, and Rax finally lost patience. "That's enough," he shouted. He pointed the glowing control rod at the dragon. The symbols flashed red. A sharp blast of command signals shot out, a frequency meant to override the dragon's instincts. The dragon's eyes flickered. Its body tensed. Its claws dug into the metal floor. The recruits gasped again. But then, something happened that no machine was built to handle. The dragon didn't submit. The dragon broke the command link. The control rod sparked violently in Rax's hand, nearly frying his fingers. He swore and stumbled back. The rod fell to the ground, its symbols now dead. That's not possible," he whispered. "A young dragon can't break a command rod. It's impossible." The commander's face hardened. This girl's presence is changing its behavior. Now dozens of eyes turned to Lira. She felt her stomach twist. "I'm not doing anything," she said softly. But no one believed her, not fully. The dragon stood again, slow and towering, placing itself between her and Rax, protecting her. Rax's fear turned to something uglier, jealousy. "That dragon is mine," he snarled. "I raised it. I trained it. She can't take it from me." The commander stepped forward. "Nobody is taking anything. We will run tests. We will study this. A dragon choosing a human girl is not a small matter." Rax's eyes were cold. "She doesn't deserve it. She's not even a soldier." The dragon growled again. Lyra felt heat rising around her, as if flames were being held back by the creature's restraint. She reached out without thinking and touched its front leg. Instantly, the dragon calmed. The growling stopped. The heat faded. The glowing lines across its scales softened. Everyone saw it. A human girl calming a war dragon. With a touch. Whispers grew, louder this time. Is she bonded with it? Is she a hidden trainer? No, it looks like love. Or loyalty. Rax's face twisted. He couldn't hide the rage anymore. This is dangerous, he said. Dragons with emotional bonds become unstable. They stop obeying commands. We need to separate them immediately. But the dragon lowered its wings protectively around Lyra. A roar built in its throat. Not loud yet, but the kind that said, "Try to take her, and I will burn everything you care about." The commander swallowed hard. No one touches the girl, or the dragon. For now, the decision enraged Rax, but he didn't dare step closer. Not now. Not while the creature's eyes burned bright gold, locked on him with obvious warning. The dragon slowly bent its head down again, nudging Lyra softly, gently, almost pleading, like it needed her, like it remembered her. And Lyra, breath shaking, whispered the only words she could find. I think it knows me." The arena held its breath. Because if that was true, then everything they believed about war dragons, about human bonds, and about Lyra's past was about to change. Forever. Hidden past. The training arena slowly emptied, but no one truly left. Soldiers pretended to walk out, then lingered by the doors. Recruits whispered behind walls. Officers watched from upper windows. Everyone wanted to understand what they had just witnessed. A war dragon had ignored its trainer. It had broken a command signal, and it had chosen a human girl, Lyra. Only one person wasn't trying to understand anything. Rax. He paced like a wild animal, rage burning inside him. His control rod, dead and useless, lay shattered on the ground. Every time he looked at Lyra, something cold twisted inside him. Something dangerous. Meanwhile, Lyra stood beside the young dragon, still unsure how to breathe normally. The creature watched her with steady golden eyes, as if guarding her from the entire world. The commander finally approached them. "Lyra," he said calmly, "we need to talk." Away from the dragon. The dragon growled the moment the commander came too close. "All right," the commander corrected quickly. "We will talk near the dragon." Rax looked like he was about to explode. The commander continued. "You said earlier that the creature seemed familiar. What did you mean?" Lyra hesitated. She didn't want to sound strange, but she also couldn't lie. "I saw something when I touched it," she whispered. "A memory. Maybe not mine. Maybe the dragon's." Rax scoffed loudly. "Dragons do not share memories. They are weapons, not pets." The dragon turned its head sharply and hissed. Rax immediately stepped back. "Careful," the commander warned him. "We're not in control of it." Lyra looked at the ground. "I don't know how, but I think I was there when it was born." Silence crashed like a hammer. The commander's eyes narrowed. "Explain." Lyra shook her head. "I can't explain. I just felt it. I saw a broken nest. Fire. A mother dragon dying. And a small hatchling. And a human hand. The dragon made a soft, rumbling sound. Almost sad." The commander exchanged a look with two senior officers. They seemed suddenly uneasy. Rax stepped forward, voice sharp like a blade. "Commander, this is nonsense. She's manipulating the dragon somehow." The dragon barked a thunderous roar. Rax stumbled backward, almost falling. The commander sighed. "War dragons don't roar for nonsense, Rax. Something real is happening here." He turned back to Lyra. "Do you know your childhood records?" he asked gently. Lyra frowned. "I grew up in Sector 12. I was found near the border when I was very young. I don't remember anything before that." The commander nodded slowly, like he already suspected this. "Sector 12, he repeated. "That region is close to the Ashen Fields." The words made the soldiers nearby stiffen. The Ashen Fields. The place where the Great War Dragon nest was destroyed years ago. The place no one was allowed to enter. The place where hundreds died, dragons and humans alike. The commander's voice dropped lower. "There was one hatchling missing that day. The only survivor. We never found it. Rax's face turned white. Don't say it. Don't you dare say it. The commander ignored him. He looked at Lira with heavy eyes. That missing hatchling might be standing beside you right now. Lira felt the world tilt. She grabbed the dragon for balance. Its body instantly shifted to support her. But I don't understand, she whispered. Why would it remember me? Rax snapped. Because dragons imprint. They imprint when they are born. If she was near the nest. He stopped suddenly, covering his mouth as if he had said too much. The commander stared at him. Rax, he said coldly, how exactly do you know about dragon imprinting? That information is classified. Rax swallowed hard. Lira noticed his hands shaking. The dragon noticed too. It stepped slightly between them, shielding her. Rax, the commander repeated, were you in the ashen fields during the attack? I followed orders, Rax whispered. The commander stepped closer. Who gave you those orders? Rax didn't answer, because the dragon suddenly made a deep growl. Not angry this time, but warning. It stared at Rax like it finally recognized him. Lyra's breath caught in her chest. Another flash hit her mind. This time sharper, clearer. She saw the nest again. She saw smoke. She saw soldiers breaking in. She saw a young man, Rax, shouting commands. She saw the mother dragon fighting, bleeding, trying to protect her hatchling. And she saw herself, tiny, crying, trapped between rocks. The mother dragon had curled around her, shielding her. The hatchling, now the young war dragon, had crawled to her. They had touched noses. Imprinting. Lira gasped out loud and stepped back, hand flying to her mouth. I saw him, she whispered. I saw Rax. He was there. You attacked the nest. Rax looked at her with pure hatred. You weren't supposed to live. The commander's eyes widened. Rax didn't look away. He didn't apologize. He didn't deny it. He only said one thing, voice cold as stone. That hatchling was supposed to die too. The dragon let out a roar that shook the entire arena. Not a warning, not a threat, a promise. Golden flames lit up inside its throat, ready to burn the man who once tried to kill it. Guards rushed forward. Officers pulled weapons. The commander shouted orders. Chaos filled the arena. But through it all, the dragon stood in front of Lira, wings spreading wide, protecting her like it had sworn a silent oath years ago. And Lira knew one terrifying truth. Rax wasn't done. He wasn't scared. He was furious. And he wasn't the only one. Someone else had given him those orders. Someone powerful. Someone who wanted both her and the dragon gone. Forever. The trainer's fear. The arena alarms blared across the walls, red lights spinning like angry eyes. Guards shouted orders. Recruits scrambled away. And the commander struggled to take control. But nothing was louder than the roar still vibrating in the air. The young war dragon stood in front of Lira, wings spread, golden flames flickering deep in its throat like a warning to the world. No one dared to move closer. Except Rax. He should have been terrified. He wasn't. He stared at the dragon with a twisted look, a mixture of hatred and something else. Something darker. Something that had been building inside him for years. You were supposed to die, he whispered again, voice shaking. Not with fear, but obsession. Both of you. The dragon snarled, stepping forward, claws digging into steel. The commander snapped. Rax, stand down. This is an order. Rax ignored him completely. You ruined everything, Rax said, eyes fixed on the creature. I trained you. I broke you. You were becoming perfect until she showed up. His words sounded insane, but there was no mistaking the truth behind them. Rax didn't want the dragon as a weapon. He wanted it as his weapon. Something that obeyed him without question. Something that feared him. But the moment the dragon saw Lira, it had stopped being Rax's creation. And Rax couldn't accept that. He raised a small black device from his belt, round, needle-like, humming with sharp energy. The commander froze. Rax, what is that? Rax smirked. Insurance. Lyra's heart dropped. The dragon sensed the danger instantly. It stepped even closer to her, pressing its warm bulk against her side. Rax took another step forward, voice rising. You think you understand dragons? You don't. I do. I studied them. I learned them. I broke them. A shiver ran through Lira. The dragon's eyes burned brighter. Rax pointed the device directly at the creature's heart. "This little tool," he said, tapping it with his finger, "can shut down a dragon's neural system in 10 seconds. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. "Stop, don't hurt it." Rax smiled. "Hurting it is the point." The dragon crouched low, muscles tightening for a strike. The glowing lines on its scales flared bright orange. Before anything could happen, the commander barked, "Rax, if you use that, you'll destroy military property. You'll be court-martialed. Let them try." Rax shouted, turning on him. "This dragon was mine before it was ever yours." Something cracked in his voice. Something deeply broken. "And now you choose a girl over me?" Rax spat. "A nobody? A stray? A mistake." The dragon roared and leaped. But Lira grabbed its front leg. "Stop." And the beast froze mid-step, muscles shaking, flames dying, as if her voice reached into its bones. Rax stumbled back in shock. The entire arena stared. Lira looked up at the dragon. "If you attack, they'll hurt you. Please don't." The dragon trembled, torn between instinct and her command. Finally, it lowered its head, body still tense but no longer ready to kill. This only made Rax angrier. He pointed at her, voice shaking with fury. "How are you controlling it? What are you?" "I'm not controlling anything," Lira said softly. "It just listens." "That's impossible," Rax screamed. The commander stepped forward. "Rax, hand over the device." "Now." Rax's breath became wild. His eyes darted around the arena. He was cornered, and something in him broke. "You think I'm a villain?" he growled. "You have no idea what's coming. She's not supposed to be here. She was supposed to disappear years ago, just like the nest." Lira froze. The commander's voice dropped to steel. "Rax, who gave you that order?" For the first time, fear crossed Rax's face. Not fear of the dragon. Fear of whoever stood behind him. He backed toward the shadowed exit. "You're asking the wrong questions." The dragon snarled. Rax raised the device to his own chest, tapped a button, and suddenly, the arena lights flickered. Security drones jerked strangely. The dragon stiffened with a pained growl. The commander yelled, "What did you just activate?" Rax grinned. "A signal. One that only the High Council can authorize." Lyra's blood ran cold. The High Council. The ones who ruled military decisions. The ones who ordered the destruction of the Ashen Fields. The ones who wanted the dragons and the humans near them erased. Rax whispered one last thing before running through the side exit. "They're coming for both of you." Then he vanished into the darkness. The dragon roared and lunged after him. But the overhead barriers slammed down instantly, trapping everyone inside the arena. The doors locked. Bolts sealed. Emergency warnings flashed. The commander's voice shook for the first time. "This is not a drill." The dragon pressed against Lira, frightened but fierce. Outside the arena, heavy footsteps echoed. Not human ones. A deeper sound. Metal striking metal. Dozens of them. Lira whispered, What is that?" The commander swallowed hard. "The council's war drones. The ones designed to kill dragons." The dragon's wings flared. Lira stepped back, only to feel the warm scales behind her. The dragon gently pushed her under its chest, sheltering her. The first drone hit the outer door with a deafening crash. And Lira finally understood. They weren't coming to subdue the dragon. They were coming to erase a bond the council feared. The forbidden test. The first strike slammed into the arena doors so hard the metal bent inward. Dust burst from the hinges. Warning sirens screamed across the ceiling. The ground shook like someone had punched the entire building. The young war dragon stepped in front of Lira, wings folding around her like a shield. Its breath heated the air, filling it with warm smoke and sparks. The commander grabbed a control panel on the wall. "We need to move. Those war drones are not here to capture. They're here to eliminate." Lyra's voice trembled. "Eliminate what?" "The dragon." The commander's expression was grim. "Both of you." Another blow hit the door. This time a long, sharp crack split down the middle. A cold, metallic screech echoed through the arena. The soldiers who remained backed away in terror. Lira pressed closer to the dragon's chest. "Why are they targeting us?" "What did I do?" "You exist," the commander said. That's enough for the council. Before Lira could understand, the door exploded inward. Metal fragments flew across the arena like deadly shrapnel. Several officers dove to the ground. Electricity sparked from the blown circuits. Smoke filled the air. Then the attackers stepped through. Tall metal bodies. Sharp hook-like legs. Red sensors glowing like soulless eyes. War drones, designed for one purpose, killing dragons. 3 of them entered first, scanning the area with rapid beeps. More shadows moved behind them, waiting. Lyra's heart froze. The nearest drone locked onto the dragon instantly. A red target symbol glowed across its metallic face. The commander shouted, "Everyone fall back. Those things won't stop." The dragon didn't wait. It roared and leaped forward with terrifying force, the ground cracking under its claws. A blast of golden fire shot from its throat, slamming into the first drone. The fire didn't melt it completely, but it damaged the sensors enough to blind the machine. Sparks flew as it stumbled backward. The other drones moved fast, legs slicing through the air with deadly precision. One fired a blast of blue energy at the dragon's neck. "Look out!" Lira screamed. The dragon twisted its body, taking the hit on its shoulder. Smoke rose from its scales. It staggered but didn't fall. Instead, it pushed Lira behind a chunk of broken wall and roared so loudly the entire arena vibrated. Then something changed. For a moment, just a second, Lira felt a strange pull in her mind. A wave of heat traveled from the dragon's chest into her own. Her vision blurred. A memory? No, a connection. She felt the dragon's anger, its fear, its desperate need to protect her. Like her emotions, and its emotions were tangled together. The commander noticed her sudden stillness. "Lira, are you all right?" I can feel it," she whispered. "The dragon. Inside me." The commander stared. "You're sinking with it. That's impossible." A drone charged toward them. The dragon didn't hesitate. It lunged with a bone-shaking roar, slamming its full weight into the drone and crushing it against the ground. Sparks exploded upward. Metal screamed under the pressure, but there were still 2 more. The second drone leaped high, spinning its sharp limbs like deadly blades. It aimed straight for Lira. The dragon saw it, too late. "And oh," the commander yelled. Lira ducked, raising her arms in reflex. And something unbelievable happened. A shock wave burst outward from the dragon's body. Not fire, not energy, a pulse, golden and hot, sweeping across the room like a living wind. The drone was thrown backward midair, crashing into the far wall. Everyone froze. Even the dragon blinked in surprise. What was that?" Lira whispered. The commander's voice trembled. "A dragon's soul pulse. Dragons only use that to protect their own young." Lyra's breath caught. "But I'm not." "Maybe you are," he said. "Not by blood, but by bond." The dragon stepped to her side, touching its head to her shoulder gently, like confirming the truth. Before anyone could process it, the third drone rushed forward. This one was bigger, double the size of the others, and its chest opened to reveal a swirling blue core. The commander's face turned pale. "That's a disintegration cannon. Move!" The cannon powered up with a rising hum. The dragon didn't move as fast this time. It was tired, injured, smoke rising from its wounds. Lira ran forward without thinking. "Stop!" The massive drone ignored her and locked onto the dragon. The cannon fired. A beam of blue light shot across the arena, straight toward the creature's heart. Lira jumped in front of the dragon. A collective scream filled the arena. But the dragon reacted faster than thought. It spun and wrapped its wings around her, shielding her completely. The beam slammed into its wings with a violent flash, leaving a smoking burn mark across its scales. The dragon cried out in pain. Lira felt that pain inside her chest, sharp, overwhelming, like she had been hit too. She fell to her knees, clutching her heart. "Lira!" the commander shouted. But something else happened too. The dragon shuddered, and its eyes began to glow brighter than ever before. Not gold, white, pure white. A low hum built in the air, stronger and stronger, shaking dust from the ceiling and cracking the floor beneath them. The commander backed away. Oh no. Oh no. This isn't normal dragon power. Another drone aimed at them. But the dragon stepped forward, wings open, light pouring from its body like sunlight trapped inside crystal. Lira looked up, breath trembling. What are you doing? The dragon's pulse rose louder, faster, hotter. Then, boom, a shockwave of brilliant white energy exploded outward. The drone was blown apart instantly. The walls cracked. The ground split. Every sensor in the room died. The arena fell quiet. Smoke drifted across the broken floor. The dragon stood panting, trembling from exhaustion, but alive. It turned its head toward Lira, lowering itself. She touched its face gently. You saved me, she whispered, and the dragon made a soft, weak rumble. The commander stared in awe. That wasn't training. That wasn't instinct. That was something else. Something old. Something forbidden. Lyra's voice shook. Why? Why does it protect me like this? He answered quietly. Because its mother died to protect you. And now it will die before it lets anything hurt you. Before Lira could respond, a new sound echoed from the broken doorway. Darker, heavier, more terrifying. More drones? No, something worse. A voice. Cold, controlled, and coming from the shadows. Enough games. Lira felt a chill run up her spine. Footsteps approached. The real threat had finally arrived. The High Council envoy. And he wasn't here to talk. Truth revealed. The smoke from the destroyed drones slowly cleared, drifting like dark clouds across the broken arena. Sparks snapped from ruined circuits. The ground was cracked. The air smelled of burned metal and dragon fire. Lira stood close to the young dragon, both of them trembling from exhaustion and fear. Then, tap, tap, tap. Footsteps echoed through the ruined entrance. Not hurried, not afraid. Slow, controlled. Like the person walking and already knew he was untouchable. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows. He wore a black uniform marked with the silver symbol of the High Council, 3 sharp points shaped like claws. His eyes were cold, almost colorless, like someone had drained the life out of them long ago. This was no ordinary officer. This was someone who gave orders to officers. Someone who decided who lived and who vanished. The commander stiffened. Council Envoy Saran. The envoy glanced at him without emotion. Commander, your facility is in unacceptable condition. The commander clenched his jaw. Your drones did this. They did their job, Saran replied calmly. The target is still alive. Correcting that failure is my responsibility now. Lira felt the dragon lower its head around her protectively. Saran noticed. His gaze sharpened. So, his voice dropped like a blade. The dragon imprinted. The commander stepped forward. You knew this was possible? Saran raised a brow. Of course. The council knew the moment the nest was destroyed. Lyra's breath caught. You destroyed the nest. Saran turned toward her with the slow grace of a predator. Yes, he said simply. We destroyed it. And we meant to destroy you with it. The words hit harder than any drone blast. The dragon snarled, stepping toward Saran, but the envoy didn't flinch. Your existence, Saran continued, is a threat to every dragon program we have created. Lyra's voice trembled. Why? I'm just a girl. I didn't do anything. Exactly, Saran said. And yet the strongest hatchling in the nest chose you. Over its own kind. Over its training. Over us. His gaze drifted to the dragon. When dragons imprint on humans, he said slowly, their loyalty becomes unbreakable. Their instincts twist. Their power shifts. He tilted his head slightly. And a dragon imprinted on a child from Sector 12? That is unacceptable. Lira stumbled back. I didn't choose this. I didn't even remember. The envoy's eyes gleamed. Memory loss was expected after the explosion. A thin smile crossed his lips. But the bond survived. That is problematic. The commander stepped in front of Lira. Envoy, this is not a threat. The girl and the dragon can be studied. Controlled. Saran's smile faded instantly. His voice turned cold. There is no controlling an ancient bond. Lira froze. Ancient? Saran continued. This dragon is not bred like the others. It is born from an older bloodline. The last true war dragon, not our engineer versions. The commander blinked. That's impossible. The old bloodline went extinct. Saran shook his head. One egg survived, and the mother hid it among the engineered nests. Clever creature, but not clever enough. Lira looked at the dragon in shock. You're different. The dragon's golden eyes met hers. It wasn't just different. It was something far older, far stronger, something the council feared. Saran continued, speaking as if explaining a simple fact. If that dragon reaches maturity with an imprint intact, no force on this planet will control it. Not our soldiers, not our technology, not even our neural systems. Then he pointed at Lira. And the only way to break the imprint is to kill you. The dragon lunged with a roar that shook the broken arena. Saran didn't move. At the last second, the commander grabbed the dragon's harness and pulled. The creature skidded to a halt, claws tearing through metal. Saran sighed. You're delaying the inevitable, Commander. The commander snapped. I won't let you kill her. Saran didn't argue. He simply tapped his wrist device. Instantly, the broken drones on the ground began to twitch. Their red lights flickered back to life. Lira's eyes widened. They're rebooting? Saran nodded. Designed for battlefield resurrection. Very efficient. One by one, the drones rose again, damaged, sparking but functional. The dragon stepped in front of Lira. Saran watched, fascinated. A dragon protecting a human, he said softly. Beautiful and dangerous. He raised his wrist device again. Activate Protocol Omega. The walls of the arena shook violently. The floor panels lit up. The ceiling opened like metal jaws. And something massive began lowering from above. A giant machine the size of the entire training hall. A dragon killer. A mechanical monster built for one purpose. Lira's voice broke. What is that? The commander whispered, terrified. The Omega Reaver. The council's most powerful weapon. Even full-grown dragons can't survive it. The dragon growled and stepped forward, fury in its eyes. Saran smiled at Lira. You should feel honored. The council rarely uses this level of weaponry on a human. Lira shook. Why are you doing this? Why does my life matter so much? Saran leaned closer. Because the old dragons trusted humans once, he whispered. And that trust destroyed an entire era. We will not allow history to repeat. The Omega Reaver's eyes lit with deadly red light. Its claws unfolded. The ground vibrated as it took its first heavy step. Saran walked backward toward the exit. Kill the dragon, he commanded calmly. Then kill the girl. The drones activated. The Reaver roared. The ceiling lights shattered from a force. The commander grabbed Lira's arm. We have to run. But the dragon didn't run. It stepped forward, wings rising, eyes burning white again. Lira felt something inside her ignite. A connection deeper than memory, deeper than fear. The young dragon bowed its head to her, inviting her to climb onto its back. This was no longer about survival. This was war, and it had already begun. Final confrontation and rise. The Omega Reaver took another thunderous step into the arena, and the ground shook like an earthquake. Its red eyes scanned the battlefield with cold precision. Giant metal claws unfolded, each big enough to split the young dragon in half. Energy crackled across its armored plates. The commander stared in horror. It's fully active. We won't survive this. Lira felt her pulse racing so hard it hurt. The dragon lowered itself once again, nudging her with its snout, urging her to climb. Her voice trembled. I don't know how to ride you. The dragon looked at her with a calm, steady gaze. Trust me. She could feel the message, not in words, but in emotion. Lira placed her hand on its warm scales and climbed onto its back. The dragon rose smoothly, as if it had been waiting for this moment since the day it was born. The commander whispered, No human has ridden a dragon in 100 years. The Omega Reaver's chest glowed with a rising hum as it charged a massive cannon blast. Saran's voice echoed from the shadows. Fire. The cannon released a beam of blue-white energy strong enough to melt steel. Move! Lira screamed. The dragon leapt sideways, wings flaring wide, and the beam tore a burning hole straight through the arena wall. Heat washed over them like a wave. The creature landed, claws skidding across shattered metal. 3 war drones collapsed from above, diving at the dragon with stabbing limbs. Lira gripped the dragon's spines tightly. Left. Go left. The dragon followed her instinctively, twisting with surprising agility. Fire burst from its throat, engulfing one drone in a storm of golden flames. Another drone dropped toward them, but Lira saw it first. Up. Now. The dragon launched itself upward just as the drone stabbed the ground where they had been. Sparks shot across the arena. The bond between them was no longer a mystery. They moved like a single being. The Omega Reaver let out a metallic roar and swung its massive arm down. The dragon barely dodged, but the impact shattered the floor beneath them. The commander yelled, "Lira, the Reaver's weak point is on its back, its power core." Lira turned toward the dragon. "Can we reach it?" The dragon crouched low, wings trembling with determination. "Yes. Then let's end this." The dragon charged, claws tearing through rubble, dodging lasers and drones. But the Reaver was huge, too huge. It slammed its tail down, creating a shockwave that sent the dragon crashing sideways. Lira flew off its back, rolling across the ground with a scream. "Lira!" the commander shouted. The dragon roared and rushed toward her, but the Omega Reaver's metal claw smashed into the dragon, pinning it to the floor. Lira scrambled up, coughing. "No, let it go." The Reaver pressed harder. The dragon cried out in pain, raw, desperate, heartbreaking. Lira felt it inside her chest like someone had stabbed her. The bond pulled tight like shared nerves. She screamed and stumbled forward. "Stop! Stop it!" Saran's voice echoed coldly. "Break the bond." The Reaver's claws tightened. The dragon struggled, wings beating weakly. And Lira snapped. She stepped forward, fear gone, replaced by something burning. Something ancient. Something the dragons had carried for thousands of years. The bond. It awakened. A white glow appeared on her hands, soft at first, then brighter. Saran's eyes widened. "No, that's impossible." Lira placed her palms against the dragon's trapped wing. Warmth shot through her arms. The dragon's eyes glowed white again. Together, their shared energy pulsed, stronger than before. Stronger than fear. Stronger than metal. Stronger than the council. A blast of white light burst outward from both of them. The Omega Reaver's claw was ripped off its hinges and thrown across the arena. The dragon rose with a roar powerful enough to shake the ceiling loose. Lira stood beside it, glowing faintly, eyes bright with the same white fire. Saran stepped back. No, this bond is forbidden." Lira looked at him, her voice steady and calm. "You destroyed the nest. You tried to kill his mother. You tried to kill me. But you never understood something." She touched the dragon's neck. "We were never your weapons." The dragon spread its wings. White fire surged across its scales. The arena glowed like the sun had risen inside it. Saran shouted, "Stop them." The Omega Reaver aimed its cannon again. Lira pointed forward. "Fly." The dragon launched itself upward, dodging the beam that carved a burning line behind them. They soared above the Reaver, high enough to see the power core glowing on its back. "Now!" Lira shouted. The dragon folded its wings and dropped like a comet. They slammed onto the Reaver's back. Metal dented and cracked. The dragon sank its claws deep into the armor. The Reaver jolted violently, trying to shake them off. Lira held tight and reached the glowing power core. Heat burned her fingers, but she didn't let go. She felt the dragon's energy press into her hands. Together, they unleashed it. A burst of white fire exploded through the core. The Omega Reaver screamed like a dying giant. Light burst from its joints. Then, boom, the machine collapsed in a rain of broken metal. Silence fell. Smoke drifted. Sparks flickered. Saran stared in disbelief. Lira slid off the dragon's back, landing gently as it lowered itself beside her. She placed her forehead against its warm scales. "You did it," she whispered. The dragon rumbled softly. Saran backed away. You've doomed us." Dragons with bonds to humans are uncontrollable. The commander stepped forward. No, they're unstoppable. Saran reached for a hidden weapon, but the dragon snapped its head toward him, eyes burning. Saran froze. He knew it was over. The commander looked at Lira with awe. What will you do now? Lira glanced at the cracked ceiling, the open sky above. We can't stay here, she said. The council will never stop. The dragon nudged her gently in agreement. The commander nodded. Then go. I'll cover your escape. Lira climbed onto the dragon once more. They lifted off slowly, wings spreading wide. As they rose through the broken roof, sunlight bathed them. The dragon roared, not in anger, but in freedom, and Lira smiled through the wind. Together, they flew into the open sky. A human girl, a young war dragon, bound by a forgotten memory, feared by the council, and impossible to stop. Their story had only just begun.